All right, everyone. Some juicy NFP here today. Um, so we're just going to try to break it down what really happened. Now, NFP, high volume news, very risky, very risky, plus also very enticing to trade as well. So basically, what was going on is we need to understand what's price doing before news event. So I'm just going to quickly plot some zones here before we start. So we were sitting at was we had a resistance right here. We had a resistance, and at the same time we had a support, right? So we're going to ignore this big candle that happened, and we're just going to take a look at this area right here on the 30-minute time frame. Now NFP is a very high volume. NFP is a very high volume event. Things can happen, like price can move really quickly, and a lot of volatility can come in. So before news, we had resistance, we had support. Now, whenever there's high volatile news, let's say NFP, CPI, FOMC, whatever, do not trade an hour before the news because things are going to get really choppy really quick. Now, um, see right here, we were rejecting. So okay, so I'm not going to talk about that. I'm just going to talk about how or what analysis did I use to predict we should be continuing to push up. Now, this worked most times. Sometimes, the probability cannot be in your favor. It can go the opposite way as well. But at this time, it didn't. So I'm pretty happy about that. So now, they were expecting bad numbers. This is the number right here, 243. They were expecting bad numbers. And once they were expecting bad numbers, you need to understand that, okay, if the expectation is bad, what will that mean for gold? So if they were expecting 243, this should mean that gold should continue to push up. But at the same time, we had no confirmations price is going to go up. So we have to look at what was happening right before the news as this candle was coming down. So this trade, wow, I just still can't believe it went straight up. Right? Anyway, before the news happened, we had the drop coming in. So let's take a look on the 15-minute time frame. We had price dropping, right? So if you can see all this mess right here, we were consolidating, and then actually price went further down and then rejected here again. Now, before the news, price dropped down. So you need to ask yourself, if they're looking at bad numbers, right? If the expectation is bad numbers, and price is pushing down, and bad numbers mean that gold should continue to push up. So if it's pushing down, maybe it's grabbing liquidity, right? Because price always moves in waves, so maybe it's grabbing liquidity. So the entire analysis was this. Okay, let me just show you the 5-minute here as well for a little bit. So if we look at the 5-minute candle, this is where we pushed down, and I entered at this point right here. Now, when my entry was before the news, and the reason why my entry was before the news, because in the past I've learned if I have buy stops and sell stops, my buy stops and sell stops, they get slipped massively, lost 50K. But in this case, I was like, okay, let's do some analysis, right? The number one analysis was they were looking at bad numbers. Awesome, which means gold should go up. Great, no problem. Number two, we had candle pushing below this zone. So if a candle was pushing below this zone, maybe this was a liquidity grab for price to move up because they were expecting bad numbers. Now, in the opposite case, if price was starting to go up before the news, then we could say, okay, you know what, maybe this is being priced in because the market knows that numbers are going to be bad. If numbers are going to be bad, then price should go up on gold. And we've seen this in the past as well, right? If it goes up, then we can say, okay, the bad news is being priced in the markets. So maybe if the news happens, it doesn't go that up or whatever, But in this case, we dropped down. As we were dropping down right before the news, this was an indication that there's a probability we may continue to push up, and that's where the buy order was entered, and we continued to push up. This was like 130 pips. Incredible move. So whenever you're trading news, I would say, well, okay, whenever you're not trading news, because you should not trade news, you should just watch news, right? You just watch news, study news, see what happened, what made sense. So this idea that I had, this analysis I did, this is based off of years of watching NFP, then studying NFP. Okay, what did it do? Why did it move up? What was the reasoning? Trying to explain to yourself, right? So maybe if it pushed down, someone could say, okay, well, Raja, technically we broke below support. So if we broke below support, news should continue pushing price down as well. No, because it's news. We look at the numbers. We're like, okay, they're looking at bad numbers. and then gold has to go up. So maybe this is a liquidity grab for price to move up, and that's exactly what happened. Again, news is risky, very difficult, so we have to take special care whenever we're trying to trade news. Hope this helps. We're going to see you guys on Monday. And also remember, this weekend, I think on Sunday, on Sunday, we have two webinars dropping in the database. One is going to be on the differences in different types of trend trading analysis and adding a position back to your trade. So those are two webinars that are going to be dropped. So enjoy those, and we'll see you guys on Monday.